Hello and welcome to another episode of the Bazaar Overexplained. Today we are playing Mac. So if you're unfamiliar, Mac recently got a buff to all of his quest items, which we do have unlocked and available here. And because of that, I'm going to take this golden income start so that I can optimize my chances of going on a quest. And we don't have those options here, but we need to fill out our board with something. So why don't we go to Andy and see what we can do. Okay, I do like fungal spores. Bottled lightning can be in a crit build. I have enough money, I'm kind of inclined just to take all of these, but they don't necessarily synergize all well together. If we do find a magic carpet, this bottled lightning is going to be very important. Could also maybe find a dagger when we reroll here. Yeah, we have 20 gold, and if I do want to buy a quest item, then I only need 4 gold to do so. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to reroll as well. Barb Claws is certainly potent in the right build. I don't really like the optical augment, maybe for later portions of the game. The Barb Claws also needs something to synergize with it to where we poison ourselves, and we don't necessarily have that. But I do like taking a Shard of Obsidian here, compare that with something like a Runic Great Axe, and that could be good later on. But we're pretty far from getting there. And okay, so we have Banana Ball, Haunted Kimono, and Kyver Drone. Banana Ball could give us some shielding, so could Haunted Kimono, but I'm going to go for the Kyver Drone here. I think if we can get this train skill, that would be good. Insect Wing is also pretty nice, not that we'd really utilize that too much on our board, but overall, I think we could save that for a bigger item later on, and that could still be pretty potent for us. Additionally here, I think we could go for Langshan Mac if we get that, but let's see what we get here, and then we can move from there. Click continue here, and okay, Eagle Talisman, so a little bit of crit chance, not the worst, not the best. You know, Curio, for as much as Curio could have something interesting, I am kind of more inclined to go to the Tiny Furry Monster and get a skill that could, this skill could give us some more direction here. It'd also be pretty nice just to get a free slowing item. Something like a Smelling Salts or an Incense is pretty good. So that is super tempting. It's not that any of those synergize well with our board currently, but if we do get an Incense, maybe we could go into a regen build. Yeah, that doesn't seem horrible. I think I will do that. And okay, we'll get a Moth Meal. So at least we have another reagent if we want to go down that route. And alright, here's some interesting ones. So we could do dumpster diving, and just basically this looks like +1 income each day because we could sell the potions for 1 gold at bronze tier that we'd accrue each day, which is not bad. But I do like left-handed, probably more than Final Flame, just because we have the Shard of Obsidian. Getting left-handed on it could help win us an early fight. And now normally here I would like to take a silver tier reagent from the jungle ruins, but we have enough gold that going to JJ I think makes some sense to fill out our board. Alright, there's a Peace Rot, which I definitely do like. If at the very least it is a way to start generating some gold from our items. Yeah, I think I'm going to take that. Do we want to take the Smelling Salts and the Hemlock? So the Hemlock works pretty well with fungal spores, and then I could take the bottled lightning off. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't know that I am going to take this off just yet, but I'm going to try and plan out our board. I like Smelling Salts, and if we do have the Moth Meal, we could go into a slow build. But again, I think I want this Peace Rot here. So I'm going to leave the Smelling Salts behind, I believe. So if I roll and find... I guess if I roll and find 1 medium item, then I would still have enough to buy it. But if I get the Smelling Salts, I could sell off the Talisman and the Bottled Lightning. Yeah, let's leave this behind for now. Okay, Blank Slate notably has been buffed. And do we have any relics here? We have the Peace Rot, which is a pretty fast relic. I'll take the Blank Slate. And with this, I've recently learned that all of these instances are separate clauses, so we can do poisoning, regenning, burning, slowing, and freezing, and that can all be put on this item, so that sounds pretty appealing to me. It has a 5-second cooldown, and when you use another relic, charge this 1 second, so yeah, I'm in for that. Okay, Well, this counts as a slow on a regen item, and that could help with our blank slate. Yeah, I think that this will be okay. Generating generating 2 regen every 8 seconds. I believe that this will just be a little bit better for us overall. And let's make sure our left-handed is in the right place. We could do the barb claws, but I'm okay. So our board's a little bit weak here on day 1. We could even maybe put this moth meal in for the bottled lightning, but we're playing a Mac, so we'll just hope that they're kind of on a similar start to us. Alright, so they have magic carpet, bottled lightning, dagger, and a letter opener. Yikes, okay, so I don't think they're going to be getting there on this one. This magic carpet, just from this bottled lightning alone, is going to do some good things, but yeah, that's okay. We knew we were a little bit weak, and we at least have a plan moving forward. Okay, so going into day 2 here, let's see what we can accomplish. I want to remember my peace rot in my backpack so I can start generating a little bit of gold. And what item would I be looking to sell? You know, I kind of am inclined just to turn this moth meal into 2 gold. So just plus 1 gold on that thing. And then we could go to JJ. Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. We do want to make sure we're doing as much of this as we can to get this item online, and we want to find as many relics as we can, so let's go there. Alright, this is a pretty potent relic, the Eternal Torch. It wants us to buy burn items, and we're kind of on a poison synergy right now, but that doesn't mean that we can't move into this, so I will take that. The fungal spores could be good for us. We are a bit weak is my only problem here. And I do want to reroll, but if I take the spores, I'm probably not rerolling. Yeah. Plus 1 poison on 2 items. I'll take it. It'll help us enable our blank slate at the very least, and I'm not going to spend the 2 gold on the reroll. Okay, well, middle could have more questing items for us, and I'm willing to sell this Eagle Talisman to go up to 5 gold, but also getting a non-weapon item here I don't think is a bad thing. We already have 2 questing items, and this one wants us to buy burn items. Yeah, I would like, I think, to take this Shard of Obsidian off the board regardless, having this left-handed skill if I can help it. We're finding a better burn item than the bottled lightning. It would be a medium item though, so let's just take something for free. I think that makes more sense here. So let's go to the Lost Crate, and I'm going to gain a medium item for free. Alright, the Magic Carpet. Why not? The Warrior. I don't think we're defeating the Warrior. Yeah, with this build, there's no way. Covetous Thief. Yeah, I guess they have more gold for us, which is the best. Is better than the other options here. It is going to be a pretty long fight. And you know what? I can actually kind of maximize a little bit here. So if I want to ensure that my blank slate is getting the most amount of charges, I could take the Shard of Obsidian off for now, and I think I'm still going to be able to defeat the Coconut Crab at the very least just based off this regen. And I guess I could put this on board too. Mind you, this is a very, very weak board. I'm unsure if this even defeats the Coconut Crab, but I guess because of that fear, I'll just put the fungal spores in, and I think that'll be good for us. Alright, let's fight the Coconut Crab. And yeah, this is really, again, to try and just ensure that we are putting on as many poison triggers as we can for our blank slate, and the Eternal Torch will help us with that. The incense also give us a regen on that thing, so I think that this makes sense for us. And yeah, they're not the scariest fight by any stretch of the imagination, but still I want to make sure that I am not losing for some strange reason, so this board seems fine. I think ultimately we would want the coconut or the hard shell from this fight, but let's see what we get. Okay, we get the Crusher Claw, which, to be honest, has very little use to us. Mac has, I think, only 1 shield item, so I don't love that. Okay, there's Finn's Big Bite. I do think gaining regen could be potent, and then Ayla. Also, I'm kind of inclined just to use this piece rod as a money generator, so I'll put my bronze items there so that I can turn them into 2 gold. But yeah, I don't want to take this opportunity to miss out on Finn's Big Bite, so gaining 5 regen, especially on Mac, can be very potent. Alright, getting a loot item could give us the maximum amount of gold, and that's probably just the best option here. Okay, medkit does nothing for us, unfortunately. I think, you know, I would love to see them change this item so that it also could increase regen, just like +5 health or +1 regen on an item. I think that'd be pretty cool. But okay, here, let's go to Kina. Let's try and find some burn items or things that'll synergize well with our blank slate. And we can go ahead and move this here, like so. Alright, there's an upgrade to the blank slate. I'll certainly take that. And quill and ink, sure. That'll be more poison, more regen. Works well with our fungal spores. And how far away are we on this thing? Pretty far for making it work, but it does count what's happening on the battlefield from the backpack, which is pretty nice. And I will re-roll here, see if we can do some good things. Alright. Eternal Torch upgrade. Again, I've only found 1 burn item, so this is not incredible, but I will certainly take the Venomander upgrade. I don't really want to take this Noxious Potion, although, yeah, I don't really want to take the Noxious Potion, realistically. I'm going to sell the Crusher Claw. Yeah, I will take this, just investing in the future here. Adding a couple more burn to our board is not horrible. And, you know, again, I could run this Shard of Obsidian. However, it's going to take off one of the charges on the quill and ink. Let's see what we're fighting, and then we can make a better decision about that. Also, Noxious Poison. Yeah, I don't think we want the Noxious Poison. Let's keep going here. Notably, this is a tool, not a relic. Okay, so we want to be on the lookout for those for sure. Is there a reason I put the Peace Rod on board instead of the torch? I think having this with burn makes sense. I guess realistically, if we put this on board, we would be gaining more regen, and it looks like that's where we're going to be going most quickly. So again, we're pretty weak for this fight. Shard of Obsidian. Yeah, I think the torch itself is not going to do enough to justify its slots, and 4 regen could be more impactful, so I'll stick like this. At the very least, this is charging our blank slate a little bit more. So, let's fight this Vanessa. I don't have high hopes for this fight, but that doesn't mean we won't sneak one out. Shark Claws? Yeah, probably not, unless these are ammo items. Well, one is, but there's also an Illusoray here. Interesting, they have golden, right-handed, they have left-handed. This is a lot of damage, though. Although we are creating good regen, I don't know that we're going to have enough here to really outmuscle the Shark Claws. But our poison's getting up there. Regen's doing pretty good. Okay, wow, we actually do get there. Man, the regen, turns out that the Peace Rot was a good call for us, as well as the Shard of Obsidian. Yes, this Shard of Obsidian meant less quill and ink charges for us, but I think we needed to have all the life gain we could there. Alright, so there's Finn's again. And, yeah, you know, I'm probably less inclined to play the Bottled Lightning, and I would like to maybe put crit chance on this blank slate or something like that. We don't need to go to Ayla, though. I do like going to Finn's and just gaining another good amount of regen. Okay, normally I'd like to take chocolates here, but I would like to find some more powerful things and maybe cash in a little bit. Our board is just so weak, so I am going to go to middle here. Wow. Let's do it. Let's commit. And I am even willing to reroll here. And alright, Frost Totem is pretty strong. Frost Totem with the Ice Claw. That's a tough decision. You know, I look at this Burning Torch, and again, our board is much more oriented around poison and regen. It makes me want to take this Nightshade at the very least, so I will do so. And I think I'm going to leave these behind. It is a really nice 1-2 to find there, and then again, I would if I could get freeze on this thing, that could be very powerful. So what can I do? I'd be willing to sell the Eternal Torch. I'd be willing to sell the Shard, the Eagle Talisman, so that's 6 gold. Then I would have to find 2 gold on our board. Maybe, I don't know, the Venomander, the Fungal Spores. I guess it could be the Fungal Spores. Yeah. Let's try and get this thing rolling. So I'm going to sell the Torch. And you know, I could sell the Peace Rot. It's not generating a lot of value for us, and if we could get this thing up and running with these freeze triggers, I think that could be very powerful. So, okay, that doesn't gain crit chance. We just put it on our Quill and Ink. That's interesting, but it's good to know. So I will sell the Peace Rot. I am going to take the Frost Totem. And do I buy this? I don't. My goal here is really not to get this online as soon as possible and to still have a playable board. So kind of inclined just to do something like this. Maybe even this, just because we have the Fungal Spores. And then that'll be with our Nightshade. We'll still be contributing towards our poison and our regen. And then this will also be starting to work on our blank slate. Okay. And again, is there a reason to buy this? What would I have to sell? I guess I'd sell like Fungal Spores and then Hemlock and Incense. Yikes, that's a lot to give up just to try and enable this. You know, it might just be worth it realistically, but we would be sacrificing a lot of this. But this is poison, yeah, okay. So I'm going to go in on it. This is going to make us weaker in the short term, and this is certainly not potent of a build, but I think that in the long term, this could do good things for us. And, you know, the Frost Street Challenger did just get a lot scarier. If we lose this fight, that could be very bad for us, obviously. But I do think that our Nightshade will at least be doing good things. So I'm going to risk it. We might lose this fight. We would not level up if that's the case. But if we could get one of these freeze items, that could be very strong for us. But yeah, they have this new skill. Well, it's the same skill, but it was buffed, where it says when you freeze, a weapon gains 30 damage. So as we can see, these weapons are already pretty large. Mind you, we do have a lot of good starting regen, so hopefully that makes up the difference. And it looks like it just very well might. Well, I don't know. This guy, he's getting pretty big. He, with his next shot, won't kill us. So, okay, nice. And our Ice Claw gets there. Alright, so we got some good freeze triggers here, some good regen and poisoning. And what do we get here? Hand Axe, not really what we want, but I'll take it nonetheless. There's a furnace. We're getting closer on this. I think we just go to Kina here and try and rebuild from our investment. I do like the Nightshade. Yeah, I'll take that. Gotta give something up. I'll take the Nightshade upgrade, and then no money for anything else. Let's upgrade an item. So we're not going to be playing this. What would we upgrade? I guess just the Ice Claw. I could also go for a Bronze Tier skill. This would gain more damage at the very least. I don't think that's horrible. So let's put that on the Ice Claw. I do think I want to play it again just because if we can get more triggers on this thing, or get this thing freezing, that'd be very good for us. Okay, we have 1 gold, so it doesn't really do much for us if we would like to go to Quixel, but going to just getting a small weapon is at least a thing we put on the board, so I'll take it. And yeah, I'll put the left-handed on it. Again, we're sacrificing some of our strength early so that we can be stronger later, so I don't really expect to be doing any good things in winning this fight, but you never know. Alright, what do they have? Yellow Mantis, Red Firefly, Ignition Core. They have a solar farm. Wow, okay. Pretty early solar farm. And it's interesting, their left eye is highlighting our letter opener, but I believe it's on their cooling fan, or I guess their ignition core. Alright. We're doing better than I expected, but they are starting to really stack up that burn. We have a lot of poison on them, and I think if we get this Ice Claw off one more time, that'll be it. Wow, okay. Really wasn't expecting to win, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Alright, so 8 gold for us. We want to fill out our board. Again, willing to sell this letter opener realistically. And there's Quixel. Alright, so freeze 3 items for 0.5 seconds? Hold up. Oh, this is a... No, it's not a relic. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of triggers for our Ice Claw. Okay. Well, that's looking pretty good for us. Yeah, let's go to Quixel here. And I wanted to find relics. This is a relic. It's a really... It's not a very low cooldown relic, unfortunately. But it does certainly contribute to what we're doing. I want relics because I want to be able to charge our frost totem. I could roll here, but I don't think that's worth it. And realistically, is this doing a lot for us? So we're getting close to our poison and regen. We're pretty far from our slow. Yeah, I think we don't need to buy that. We're kind of in a weird spot in between builds, but a little bit of a waste of a store. That's okay. Alright, this is an opportunity where I'm going to go to the eating contest. Again, I think we need to find some other things, so I don't know that I want to go all the way in here. I'm just going to get the silver tier chocolates, and I'll utilize those. Should I save one? I don't need to do so right now. Okay. Flame Juggler. I think we don't have a good enough way to cleanse the burn on this. I think I just want to go to the retiree. And they do have a skill that says when you heal or gain regen, your shield items gain things, but we don't have a shield item, I guess. So never mind. However, a bushel could be interesting. Again, no shield items, so maybe not. Getting a spare change is probably just the best. The reason mostly why I came here is just because they have a higher amount of HP than the other fight, so this will allow us to gain more of these triggers to hopefully keep leveling this guy up. But yeah, man, this thing hitting for 580 at 18-second mark feels pretty nice. And yeah, we're getting closer on this. Alright, we gained the spare change. We love to see it. And haste, slow, and cooldown items versus income, essentially. Haste, slow, and cooldown items. We could get another incense or something like that. I think we would really want freeze items here is the biggest get, so I'm kind of inclined just to keep saving our money. And let's go for a tool here. Okay, charge a tech item. Well, we don't have any of those. Backroom dealings. I do like this skill a lot. I think artillery spotter could maybe be best for us if we go into a freeze build, but backroom dealings is a really nice get. And we don't have a medium item we would like to sell, but getting a small or large item could be good. Let's just keep saving our gold here. Alright, Valley Fever I think will trigger the blank slate at the very least, so there's that. And okay, let's fight this Vanessa. Our builds have been more powerful than I thought thus far, but again, I don't feel like we're super strong. They, let's see, have dock lines, jellyfish, there's some sort of aquatic build. They have some pretty good skills here too. It's gonna, I think, just come down to this Ice Claw, but they are really CCing this Ice Claw a lot, and they've started to burn us with the shrimp. We do freeze the shrimp, but they've slowed our Ice Claw very many times. So I don't think we're gonna get there this fight, but that's okay. We do at the very least start getting the regen claws on this blank slate. Yeah. Okay. Well, kind of happened how I thought it would. And there's an opportunity for more HP, but we're gonna gain some going to middle either way, so gonna go there. And let's look for the relic tags. You know what? I could do something even better. So I realistically should have done this before, but I went to Bazaar.gg. I'm going to go to Mac. When we're looking at our items, I'm going to click Relic, and then I'm going to see what relics we can find. Okay, Amber. Basilisk Fang. Both are very good. Dragon's Breath, Earrings would be pretty nice. Fireclaw. Frozen Flame is what I was really thinking about. However, getting a life conduit could be pretty good too. Memento Mori. A mirror would be nice. So would an Ouroboros statue. Pendulum obviously would be incredible. Philo Stone, I would like that. Okay. All the runic items are relics. Sapphire is a relic. That'd be very good for us. Soul Ring. Okay. So yeah, playing a lot more into the regen build, a lot of these would. Tomb of the Ancients also would be very nice for us, because I think we're going to be completing multiple quests here. So there certainly were some medium relic items that we'd be interested in. A lot have a much higher cooldown than I would like, but also looking at this death caps, because we could transform it. We could also get an upgrade to our totem or ice claw, so I'll roll here. And well, there's runic daggers, which ideally could synergize very well as a charge enabler for our frost totem and our blank slate, as it would at the very least charge these things twice. It doesn't really synergize well with the other portions of what we're doing, but it could be something that's a nice backup for us. So I could see us going into like a runic great axe with this on board and these two items on board. I guess we really just want a Frozen Flame and Sapphire, but it's not like we have those in front of us. So do I want to invest in these? I guess I don't have any other crit synergies, and I could put this on the board and replace these two items that aren't doing too much. Sure, I'll do that. At the very least, I can start taking the Nightshade and regen package off board once we have enough poisoning here, as they're not doing a ton for us. Alright, well, Ayla could have the Runic Great Axe, and we could also just get a slow item. We have like 9 gold to work with, maybe even more like 10, 11, 13. So we have 13, so we could buy a Great Axe if we find it on the first try. Otherwise, we're selling some stuff off. I think that's worth it. Well, there's a Ice Claw upgrade. I don't think that that's a bad deal. So, oh yes, I have to sell some things to get it, sure. So, I'll get the Ice Claw upgrade, and then that also has triggered our Frost Totem. Nice. Okay. So we've bought enough relics. And then, any of these relics? No. We don't have a lot of gold. Yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here. So, I believe we could take down any of these monsters. I guess let's just go for the biggest one here. Yeah, 15 regen on this thing feels pretty good. And if we can maybe get one more quest item to have multicast, we can really start going off with these two. Maybe the Tomb of the Ancients is the thing we're really looking for. Yeah, now this thing has poison. That's super nice. And this Ice Claw is getting pretty big. Bigger than it was before for sure. Yeah, this is no small amount of regen. Or poison, realistically. 15's not too bad. So our Nightshade's getting pretty big too, but I think if we can just start charging these two items pretty significantly, then that'll be better for us. Alright, augmented weaponry, I'm not going to say no. Okay, there's Pearl's dig site. Versus JJ could have anything. Pearls could have anything. So, I'll go there. Pearls pulls from the entirety of the pool of items. Hatchet be 4 gold. Let's keep going. Kukri does work well with their blank slate, but I kind of want to see a cool relic here. Or a diamond ice claw. Can't complain with that. It also upgrades our frost totem, so that's super good for us. Yeah, let's take some gold loot here. I was going to say cooldown reduction would be phenomenal. It's exactly what we get. And okay, so this has poison on it now, so I'm willing to start selling these items. Because of that, we can go to Kina. Oh, there's a Quillen Ink. You know, there's also a Sands of Time. So it is a relic, and if we can again start multicasting with these items and have like a board full of relics, I could see this being very good. Infused Bracers is also powerful. Yeah, I'm gonna take that and dream big. I'm gonna put this on board. I'm also not thinking we're utilizing this, so I'm gonna re-roll here. I know we go down to 0 gold, but we could find some good things. An Ouroboros statue is certainly one of them. It is a relic, at the very least, and sure, it isn't really doing a lot of good stuff for us right now, but, you know, we could also take this runic potion, which unfortunately is not a relic. And so, yeah, I would be willing to sell, like, 1, 2, so this is 4, 6, 7, and I kind of, like, want to transform this. So 7 gold. I guess I could get the Ouroboros statue again just to try and get this online a little bit faster. It's not the worst idea. I also want to buy slow items with that. These aren't slow items. The runic potion, again, could be great with a great axe, but we are kind of seeing that we have a really nice frost building here. So, yeah, let's invest in the Ouroboros statue. I will sell all of these items to do so. I can buy the statue, and then I can also... No, I cannot buy the runic potion, but that's okay. Now we'll sell this. I'll sell this as well. So we're not really generating a lot for the Ouroboros statue. This is more so just so that we can buy more relics for the Sands of Time. But notably, it is a relic, so it doesn't have the highest cooldown either, so it can start proccing these other items, and I think that could be good for us. So let's keep moving here. Alright, let's now fight this Mac. I'm also wondering if I've right-handed or left-handed. It is left-handed, okay, so our runic daggers are in the correct spot. Alright, this Mac has a similar build to us, but they're not really poisoning. They're doing a lot of freezing. So, I think we'll be okay here. Oh, the game is struggling to keep up with everything that's happening. There we go. So yeah, a lot of freezing. We can replay that to see what's happening. But feels pretty good. I at least want to see the recap and see how fast our items were going off, or how many times they went off. 6 times, 4 times. Okay. Yeah. That Mac, frankly, was just a little weak comparatively to where we're at, but doesn't mean that we're necessarily weak either. So go to day 6 here. I don't have a ton of money to work with. Getting a haste item could be interesting. So I'm going to go back to howbazaar.gg. I'm going to go to the items section, Mac, haste. So there's adrenal converter, energy potion, smelling salts. Smelling salts could help us. There's haste reference, which is earrings. And so there's really, if there's only 5 items, then it's pretty guaranteed that we'll at least see a smelling salts. And smelling salts would be a slow item for us. Again, I think the runic potion could be good. And the earrings themselves are a relic, so I would want that. So yeah, let's, you know, doesn't feel good to give up 120 max HP, but let's go here. Interesting. So we got a turbo alembic. The start of each day. If it's not enchanted, enchant it with turbo. Okay, so we can make a turbo potion of some variety. And that was weird, it said relic for a second. I don't think I want to reroll here. I guess it has a high likelihood of us getting like an enchanted item. I would sell the Ouroboros statue off if I found like smelling salts and earrings. But I would go down to 2 gold. I don't think I want to do that. That's too high of a reroll. That's very interesting though. Okay. Well, Kronos, sort of strange. There's the aerodrome, and we don't have 20 gold to get our ticket, unfortunately. But I will just go to this obstacle course and get a slow item. It's also a relic, so that's pretty nice. I'll try and facilitate playing that, I think. Can we defeat the Lich? That's a great question. I'm generally inclined to say no. Just the Lich is very powerful. And you know, I'm going to put the Sands of Time on board. I kind of even want to take the daggers off. like one of the frost totem maybe, and just start trying to stack some slow on this thing to make the fight go longer. I could see that being good. I could even just take the ice claws off completely. I don't know that we win if we do that, but we are creating a good amount of regen, I suppose. And yeah, just getting more slow triggers. Guess I'm not going to risk it too much. How do we make our build decent but not powerful? I guess this is fine. I don't think that the Zookeeper will be able to defeat us. This is fine. We're not going to be doing a lot of damage, but I think the poison may genuinely slowly trickle and kill them. I guess the leeches could get big. We'll see. This is all in an effort to try and maximize this thing anyway. And yeah, I think we'll be okay from what I'm seeing here. And how does this proc? Not by anything we're doing outside of it, so. Alright, did we get a good amount of slow? Got a couple triggers on there. I'll take it. And Salamander Pup, okay. We could just even keep that to start triggering this more later on. Well, there is a Vol Pack. We don't really have any small things we want to sell, but gaining relics would be good. Gain some gold. Yeah, let's just go to Vol Pack here. Alright, 2 relics for us. It costs us 16 to get them. But that would enable us to actually turn on Sands of Time. Okay. I could sell the Salamander Pup. Yeah, I'll buy the statue. And I'll sell the pup. Get this emerald. And thus this should now be online. At least to some degree. Has a pretty high cooldown, but I think I'll play it nonetheless. And yeah, we could roll here, but we don't need to. There is this black ice. We are freezing a lot. Yeah, that could be very powerful, actually. It's a little bit of a non-synergy in terms of it not being a relic, but maybe that's okay. The statue, we bought it anyway just because we wanted to get the relic types for this thing, so. Alright, we can upgrade a silver tier or lower item. I'm pretty sure we want to upgrade this frost totem. We could upgrade the black ice as well, but this is going to have 1 second lower cooldown, and I think that'll be very good for us. And we have no money. Well, that's not really true. I guess we have enough items to sell in our backpack, but I am inclined just to at least increase our income here. We still have a good amount of days to go. I think that'll pay off nicely for us. And yeah, so this poisoning, it may not be incredible, but I think that it could be powerful enough to want to play. Let's fight this Vanessa. We do have a lot of freeze triggers on our board, which feels pretty good. Yeah, I do like playing the Mac Freeze build. And they have a submersible. Do they have items going off? They do have Orange Julian. Okay. So this is going to be pretty scary. We're going to have to see if our items are triggering enough to where we kind of lock them out of the game. This Ice Claw is going to get pretty big. We may just have, yeah, enough Perma-Freeze here to be in a good spot. Yeah, okay. And wow, the Black Ice did a lot there. Their build was pretty scary. If the Julian got off the ground, it'd be pretty bad, but this also is only 91 damage. We're only on day 6, but yeah, this was pretty big. And this, yeah, poisoning a lot with this thing too, was pretty good for us. Alright, so we want to find some upgrades to our Sands of Time. So we want to buy slow items, realistically. We're also very close to having this blank slate slow as well, and that's always nice. Apparel items. You know, also if we find an aerodrome, I want to have enough money to be able to get a ticket. So just gonna go get one of these items. A weapon, we don't really want a weapon. I guess a shield item could be a relic. Why not? It's a welding helmet. Alright. And feel like I have the weapon I want, so I'm just going to take the gold here. Again, if we can find an aerodrome in the next 2 days, that'd be pretty nice. Normally I'd go Thug here, but I am going to go Chili Charles on this one. I have this Reaching the Summit skill. When you freeze, your items gain 3 crit chance, which I think could be really strong for us. I could see a world where we play like the Ice Cubes or something too, but not so sure if that's what we'll be doing. But yeah, the poisoning here is going to be pretty nice for us. And when this Ice Claw goes off, it's also going to be pretty good. Nice. I'm afraid to hover over my items in case the game lags, but there we are. So this now slows, so that's great. And yeah, things are looking good. Let's see what we get. Icicles. Icicles is strong. May not be what we want right now. Okay, Paul has the opportunity for us to find a Freezing Flame, which could be very good. If we played the Freezing Flame, I guess we'd take off Black Ice and Sands of Time. And then we would also start stacking up Burn on this thing, so I may not go too insane on this. Ooh, Tomb of the Ancients. This is really nice. So interestingly, if we buy this, it's not going to see that our quests are already completed. Okay. So I am going to buy this. And yeah, so we have to complete quests for 2 more quests. So that's a good marker for us. And I do want to play that on our board, I believe. Now that this thing slows too, I want to get a burn item. This is not really the one I want. I don't need to sell it just yet. We're also close to level 8 here. I'm going to roll. Okay, there's a Plague Glaive. No, what quests are we completing? We're buying Relics, and then we're burning. Those are the 2 quests that are in front of us to get this thing to where I want it to be. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Could also put this Icicle on board, but we can make that decision later. So, if I wanted to try and buy this very expensive relic, be 24 gold, it would sell for 12. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So I have to sell all these items. Yeah, I mean, it's not how I would want to do it. We'd be losing 12 gold from this investment because I don't think we're playing a Plague Glaive. It'd just be 12 gold to try and do that. There's also the library. I wasn't even thinking about this, but this could be genuinely way more powerful than all the other things that we're doing. Mind you, I think that even in the late game, we're going to want to play this Ice Claw, we're going to want to play Frost Totem, we're going to want to play Blank Slate, but is there a world where maybe we even just take off the Amber? And we can just like perma-freeze our opponents out? Yeah, this is the worst out of all these decisions, I think, because it's doing absolutely nothing for us right now. But I do think that it could be the most potent. Let's look at some gold tier skills. First time use a large item, burn 15. That'll help us get here. So I will take that. Again, I think we have 2 burn triggers at the very least. We have no money. Let's go to the mountain pass. Income. Okay. Yeah, this library pickup might be a little bit loose, I'm not going to lie. However, I think it could even be kind of crazy already on our board. Is it better than Tomb of the Ancients? I mean, this is charging both of these items. I think that this is going to be good. And I think if there's any way for us to facilitate this library and even maybe take the Ice Claw off board, just because this item is super slow, we could have like a Perma-Freeze build. So yeah, we have a pretty strong late game plan at the very least brewing here. So let's see what this Vanessa has for us. A lot of weapons. Shark Claws, Obsidian, Piranha, huh? Okay. Well, we're gonna get some hits off for sure. Well, we're gonna start freezing. We're gonna start regenning. It's a decent amount of regen. It's a pretty good amount of freeze, I must say. Yeah. I do love what I'm seeing here. We're freezing so much, we're poisoning so much, and then the ice clock comes in to seal the deal. Alright. Very cool. Build is looking pretty nice. We're getting to that point where we're kind of perma-freezing our opponents out of the board. Even a weapon spam build, which is pretty wild. Okay, there is a street festival. We really don't have a lot of money, so I was hoping we could find some free stuff. I guess I'll go there, and we could find a giant ice club, that'd be insane. If we just find slow items, that'd be good. Vanessa, I guess if we're looking to buy slow items, so we get the quest completed on here, we would want to go to Vanessa. The most powerful option would be finding a giant ice club from Pygmalion, but we don't. We already have a library. I think we can try and go for this build here. Alright, we don't find a slow item. I don't want to spend 6 gold here, so I'm just going to keep going. And tools, let's see, are there slow tools? So here we are yet again, Bazaar.gg. So slow tool, just the macro scope. Okay. Is the chance of getting a macro scope better than just 1 experience? I don't think it is. Let's just gain the XP. And Wandering Shoal versus Joyful Jack. I think the Wandering Shoal has a slow item. Yeah, there's 1. There's 2. And whenever you slow charge an item 1 second, it seems pretty strong. I love seeing all this freezing. This feels very powerful. Slowing our board makes our board worse for sure, but I still like what we're doing here quite a bit. It's not often that you can get to the point where you're perma-freezing your opponents out of the game. So, if we can do it, I'm gonna do it. Seaweed. Alright. Silver tier tool, loot. Let's see if we can just gain more cooldown reduction. No, we get cinders. And yeah, this thing is charging off these 2, so that's nice. Haste item versus a random item. If we find an aerodrome, that'd be the best. I guess it's not even likely that that happens. Haste item could be a smelling salt, so that could be 1 more slow item for this thing. I guess JJ could have anything. Yeah, I'll click this. Haste potion, okay. We don't find the aerodrome, that's okay. And we'll just get a random item. Here's the smelling salts. We just had to make it harder for us. Okay, so yeah, 3 away from this. I've never seen this Pygmalion skin before. It's pretty cool. And they're holding the double whammy. That's sweet. Well, let's see what they got. So their drum build, okay. This is a pretty big test for us. Their build is going to be going off pretty quick. Oh my gosh, they have a sharp corners and a shielded yo-yo. Wow, okay. That's pretty insane. We're lagging off face of the earth. Okay, here we go. We are freezing them. They are doing a lot of damage whenever they have the opportunity to actually hit us. This is somehow way closer than I thought it would be. Wow, we actually got there. Man, I didn't think we'd be this powerful, but we really are just perma-freezing our opponents out of the game. That's crazy. Okay. Looks like this was a good pickup. And if we could ever get this thing to actually do burn damage, well. Alright. Well, Ayla could have the femur, which is a slow item, but I think we want to go that route. We could transform a thing. I mean, we could. I don't see... I guess we just get the cinders. Oh, gold cinders too? Okay. We do get the burn on this, that'd be very good. Mysterious Portal versus Midsworth. I mean, Midsworth could have upgrades for our Tomb of the Ancients, but this could be a big power spike. It's Bazaar Con. Okay. These could be slow items here, but 2 XP is just too enticing. Alright, I'm pretty confident we defeat the Void Knight. Which, they're called the Void Knight? Hold up. Wasn't that called something else before? Anyway, let's fight them. Gaining a Sapphire could be nice. And realistically, gaining 3 XP, but I'm kind of looking at Desperate Cleanse and Sapphire. Those would be pretty huge for us. Sapphire notably has been nerfed in that it only gives +5 more freeze time for our items, but I think that would still be very good with the items that we have currently. And our claw goes off, and that's that. Alright. Very nice. We're gonna get our level in 10 enchant too. Okay, Desperate Cleanse, pretty good. Haste, you say? Haste, you say? Let's see where this makes most sense. So, Tomb of... Oh, okay, yeah, you got me. Gotta clear these. Tomb of the Ancients. Haste 2 items for 1 second. Okay. How about the Frost Totem? Haste 2 items for 1 second. Okay. How about a Blank Slate? Haste 2 items for 1 second. So it literally doesn't matter. Alright. Well, I think at the very least, this makes sense to me. It might be realistic in that these items are going off more, but I would like to maybe put some sort of offensive enchant on the Blank Slate. Yeah, you know, so this goes off. This is going off at 4.9. So I guess realistically, we gain 2 charges from this. And this is one for each other relic that you have. So I do think that this is going to be going off more. But I'm not exactly sure about that. Because when this goes off, this is going to charge this thing like crazy. So realistically, it's like... haste 2 things when this goes off. Then this is going to go off. And it's going to go off 5 times, so that's going to completely charge this thing. So at the very least, I think that this is going to be a little bit faster to get our build off the ground. So I will go ahead and do that. Even though that this could be more haste triggers overall. Alright, we could get a skill. Again, I really want to find some upgrades to these items, so I'm going to go to Kina here. This is a relic. It's not really the one I'm looking for. Could also get a different quest item. These are not the things I was looking for either. Okay, none of these are slow items either. Alright. Well, yeah, maybe getting a skill there would have been better, but let's keep trying to complete our quest. No, no, no. Could even put that on the battlefield. I was thinking maybe we could put the sulfur on the battlefield here instead of the amber. But, yeah. So we're 2 away, and then this thing will start poisoning. Alright. Let's see how this all works out in our PvP fight. So we're fighting a dually. I'll just see what they have before making an evaluation. Sharp corners, Dinosaurus, their dinosaur build. So you're going to destroy one of our items unless we can perma-freeze that. We also have some fiery things. Tanky Anki has been nerfed, which is very good for us. Or else, well, it has a, I guess it wouldn't matter too much. It doesn't have the clause where it stops us or reduces our damage. Man, I'm looking at our board and I'm looking at their board. Our items are going off and theirs aren't. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Perma-Freeze, pretty hard to try and compete with that. Okay. Love to see it. Alright, Tox Clocks. Surely you have 2 slow items. That's 1. We'll take the reroll here to see if we can find a second. Man, it's a really expensive second, but I'm gonna take it. So, this has been completed. This is 1 away. This is also a really good item. It would make our Tomb of the Ancients less good. Yeah, I don't think we're playing it, which is kind of crazy. We bought it literally just so that this can do its thing better, but we also now want to be burning, so yeah, maybe I should have took that small burn item before. Do we want to maybe transform our macro scope? Or go to Quixel and see if we can get a burn item? Yeah, let's go to Quixel. No, no, no. Using a lot of gold here. Yeah, I don't want these either. We are going to go to level 11 though. Can get a nice skill. I imagine that we want just a max skill. This is a pretty good one. Yeah. Whenever we slow, freeze, poison, or burn, an item with regen gains 2 more regen, so kind of good defenses off of that. Alright, Property Baron. I don't know that they really have anything that we want, but I'm pretty sure we can just freeze them out of the game. And I'm gonna... guess I'll put this on the board. Man, there's just one more burn trigger. You gotta do what you gotta do. Smelling salts. I'm gonna sell that for right now, just in case I randomly get a small item. Yeah. I don't think they one-shot us unless they crit, but can this thing crit anymore? No, it can't. So, I think we'll be good here. And even if this thing goes off once, when our build starts getting off the ground, it's gonna do some crazy stuff. Like this. Here's our crazy stuff. Yeah, we're gaining a lot of regen too. That's a lot of damage, but that's also a lot of damage. 1400 regen. Trader? Alright. Seems good to me. Let's go to Kina here, see if we can maybe find a little bit better for burn item. No. No, I think the amber was better. Just more slow. Runic potion, yeah. I mean, it does haste this. That is rather potent to haste the ice claw. I do think we want as many triggers or many relics on board as possible though, so I will roll past it even though that I think that could be good. And there's Ellie. We already have a potion. Let's just go here. Cooldown reduction, very good. So, are we getting to the point where we start librarying? No, I don't think we're there just yet. Because I guess we'd play library in place of Ice Claw and Amber. But I think that this is really good for us. I mean, we may never even play this library realistically. If we can get this thing to a really low cooldown, we won't ever have to. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Alright, let's fight this Vanessa. See what they got for us here. Okay, they have a pretty fast build, more than likely. Shielded Tortuga, Toxic Shipwreck, yikes, okay. And a Turbo Sea Shadow. So they're going to hit us for a bit, for sure, but I think we'll be able to Perma-Freeze them pretty well. Yep. They may get like one item off or something like that, but I don't think that's gonna matter. And also imagine when we get this thing to its quest completion, we're gonna be sitting pretty. Alright. So yeah, let's try and find a burn item. Haste item. Okay. No. It's a relic. Huh. No. Let's just... I just want a small burn item, please. These items are insane, though. I'm also spending way too much gold here. What the heck? No, no, no. Alright, one more time. Man, we're so close. You know, I'm just gonna take these candles, I guess, and then I'll take the ice claw off the board. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So, sell this. We don't need to sell that. I'm just gonna take the candles here. And loot item. Medkit does nothing. JJ, do you have a better small burn item for me? I don't think we're there. Charge an adjacent relic, huh? This is also a 4-second cooldown relic compared to 6. So maybe we just, yeah, I think we just get this. And that'll help our build. This is a little bit better than that. All I want to do is just burn 5 more times. So if we can get this off twice, that's all I'm trying to do. Do we defeat Morgoloth? I mean, I think we do. And this is a relic. Sweet. Okay. I think we do. I think we defeat Morgoloth even without our Ice Claw, because I think we're just gonna do so much freezing. I could be proven wrong, but I think we'll at least get this thing up and running. Yeah, well, this does poison, so nice. Alright. Well, this has to be good. We're just freezing so much. And freeze 1 item for 0.5 seconds, man. Yeah, we're in a good spot here. Cleaver. Oh, okay. Let's... Don't need you anymore. But we are going to... I don't know why it's not highlighting that. Do all this. Sure, take a cleaver. Fire. Now I think we really could just play the library. And if we could somehow upgrade it, that'd be wonderful. Guess I'll see Soulstone if I can find something for you. I want to buy freeze items. There's a freeze item. Also, it's one of every one of those items. Burn versus poison. I'll just go that way. Go for burn, why not? Okay, so here's Vanessa. So we could do this, or we could do this. And I don't know that this is better. But, especially because this goes off less, I think maybe if we can get this upgraded, that's when I'll do that. But otherwise, I mean, our build's strong. Our build's very strong. Again, I don't know that we even need the Ice Claw at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about. Radiant Infernal Greatsword, huh? Well, if there's anything that could stop us, it might be that. Radiant is pretty good. We're going to be making sure these other things don't go off at the very least. And we are going to be creating a lot of regen, burn, and damage. So, it's close, but not close enough. Yeah, we're really strong. Okay, so here's our upgrade. How does this work? Okay, so let's look at... I know the Frost Totem goes down, but... Tomb of... Okay, so I was hoping it would go down and cool down. I mean, Blank Slate I don't think does either. Yeah, it just gains better numbers. I mean... I don't know, the library could be crazy. That could be pretty crazy. I kind of just want to do it to try it, even though that I think the Frost... Yeah, that's tough. I mean, getting this to a 3.7 second cooldown versus getting it to a 2.7 second cooldown. And then this would be at a 4 second cooldown. Then this would be at a... Oh my god, okay. I have to imagine that this is good. How could that be bad? This, I guess, is going to charge this, and then this will charge this, and then these will go back and forth. I don't think we're infinite, but I think we're getting close. And do we need to buy anything? No, we're just looking for upgrades here. Not that upgrade, but this upgrade. Let's go for a skill though. When you burn, your items gain 2% crit chance for the fight. First 5 times you slow each fight, charge a heal item. I mean, yeah, crit chance is not bad. Alright, who's our victim? I think that this will be a good showing. Because this is also hasting everything too. That seems pretty strong. Yeah, I think I like that. Maybe if we were facing like a weapon spam build, it's bad. I don't think we need this, but there's no reason not to take it. Alright, see if we can again find an upgrade here. Ooh. The amber keeps showing up. Medium item, surely. No, I think we're okay. Well, that would truly be infinite, right? Because if we put that on the board, because these are just going to trigger each other. And sure, we'll put a soul stone here. Freeze. Your weapons could do better, right? Yes. So, I'm pretty confident that this is just gonna be like an infinite amount of freeze. Maybe we die, maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think it's gonna be really good. I think we're gonna hit an internal cooldown at the very least. So they're a robo factory, they're a heavy robo factory. Do we get our things off before them? Yeah. I think we're A-okay on this one. I think if they even had another board full of items, we would have been pretty close to perma-freezing them out of the game. Alright, sorry for anyone who comes across this build, but this thing, going to the moon. Okay. Yeah, 10 wins. Man, the frost totem and the blank slate. The blank slate really impressed me. Especially with the buffs, so I'll just pull up the patch notes, that'll be easier. So in the latest patch notes for June 6th, and that's when I'm recording this video, they have changed the blank slate to have a 5-second cooldown. They also changed the frost totem, I thought, to have a lower cooldown. Maybe not. Okay, oh yeah, no, it's right here. Yeah, so the frost totem also has a lower cooldown. So between these two items, I thought that this might be a problem, where these items were genuinely just going off way too quickly. And yeah, they might. They very well might. Wow, okay, super powerful. Feels pretty good. Turbo on the frost totem also, finding that last minute pendulum. We're in a pretty good spot. And this will allow us, I think, to hit silver. So that's pretty cool. We're also a master salesman. Alright, I'll take it. Anyway, I appreciate you joining me here for another episode of the Bazaar Overexplained. I am the Bazaar Whisperer, and if you like this video, hey, you could hit like, you could hit subscribe, but what I really want to do is tell you that I'm a master salesman. And also talk to you guys in the comments, and hope you have a great rest of your day or evening. Bye-bye.